Welcome back to the Driveway Beers podcast with Mike and Alex. As always, we appreciate you listening. Please rate us on all the podcast platforms. Like, subscribe, comment, share wherever else you're listening, and enjoy the show. Welcome back to another episode. We appreciate you coming back as always. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share wherever you're listening to this podcast. We're starting to see a lot more variances in where people listen. We got more YouTube views than I thought this last couple of weeks, which was interesting. Not that we get many. We get like 12, right? I'm not talking like hundreds. But we usually only get like one or two. But we recently got like 15, 16, 17. So that's like a 500% increase in one place. A lot more people went to Spotify. I think that's because a lot of people had to leave Google Podcasts. Apple Podcasts, though, still 56% of listeners that you're listening to. So if you're listening right now, there's a 50% chance you're listening on an iPhone. So congratulations to you. Want to thank Adam Chubbuck with TACMD.com, TACMD.com. Adam's with Douglas Realty in Pasadena, Maryland. Team Alpha Charlie. Go to Adam's website. This is an interesting time to be in the market. As you heard last week, on last week's episode, we had Adam on the show, and he definitely was talking about how some of the interest rate changes might affect the economy, how they also might affect refinance rates, how they also might affect house prices. So give him a call. He's going to guide you through this market with the expertise that you need right now. This is not a do-it-yourself kind of market. I'm trying to figure out an easy way to put this, but basically you need a professional who's going to put your wants and needs above their own paycheck. And that's what Adam is going to do. You heard that from him last week. Go to TACMD.com. Talk to Adam. If you're going to be in the real estate market, either buying or selling, so he can give you the best advice. If you have to buy or sell now, he's going to give you the advice as far as what you need to do now. If you can wait, he may even tell you to wait, but he might not. So your situation is going to be unique, and he's able to assess your situation and give you the right advice. So go to TACMD.com today. Talk to Adam. All right, so this is an episode. I think this is the only episode we teased 2 weeks in advance.
Yeah. So the pressure's on us.
So I mean, we teased it 2 weeks ago. We teased it last week. Mm-hmm. And this is it. This is like the Sphere show from UFC that was teased for so long, and this better live up to the hype. Which, by the way, if anyone saw that 2 weeks ago, that was unique as hell. Now, I didn't stay up until 1 a.m. to watch the title fight. I'm sorry, I'm not doing that shit. But I did watch the prelim and the pre-prelim card. And some of the graphics on this thing in the Sphere were ridiculous. And then they even had people took some videos in there of what the graphics and what was going on. It was wild, man. That's one of those things where it's going to be an attraction. If that's the only place where a Sphere exists, and I don't know if that's going to be the case, they might put these around the country. It's almost like how those IMAX theaters with those huge curved screens. Mm-hmm. Now think of it in think of that all around you.
Okay.
That you get it feels like you're in whatever it is. And I think it was it's either Phish or Pink Floyd was doing a show there. People said I think it was Phish.
Yeah.
And people said it was amazing.
Yeah, well, I'm sure the chemicals they ingested probably also helped.
Probably didn't hurt. I don't know what I would want to go see there, but I think it would be an experience to go see there.
I think you almost have to see something made specifically for it.
Oh, well it's 14K.
Yeah.
So it's not 4K, it's not 8K, it's 14K.
Yeah, but
the resolution's ridiculous.
To be completely immersed in something would have to be done. So, and then you couldn't just sit there in one spot. You'd have to be sitting on something that you could, or standing, so you could turn and look as things come around you. Right? If it's a sphere, there's things coming at you from all different directions. Right?
I don't know. I mean, it looks like it has fixed seats.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know. I mean, I could only see what a TV was showing me and what people's phones videos were showing. And for the love of God, people, when you take a video with your phone, turn the shit sideways. These fucking vertical videos that people put out there, it drives me nuts. Like, I feel like I'm not seeing everything.
Yeah, they're terrible. Like, when I take videos of my kids doing stuff, I usually do it horizontal, but my wife actually, she's like, "Did you get that on video?" No. Well, why not? Because I want to see, I want to be present in the moment. I don't want to watch it through a screen, because if I'm recording it, I have to watch it through a screen while it's happening, and then watch it through a screen again. Now, I did get, my youngest played baseball on Sunday in the little coach pitch league, and he's the second year of coach pitch, so he's bigger than all the kids anyway, and he's bigger than all the kids anyway, so he's just bigger. And he hit, for a 6-year-old, he hit a bomb. Like, in the air, landed in the outfield. You know, it was a solid double on a 10U field. And he runs around, and he actually, makes it a double. He gets safely to second before the ball gets in. Everyone's safe. It's coach pitch. But I did record that. But I stopped recording. I just wanted to watch him. So he goes, "Well, you didn't get my double." So I got the hit, but you didn't get me running to second. Okay. It was a stand-up double. You didn't slide.
Right.
So
It wasn't a tight play.
right. You beat the throw in. If you were faster, it could have been a triple.
Right. Now you're making him feel bad about it.
So let's start running. Get out there. Go. So, but I'd rather be present in the moment and watch him do it and cheer him and all that. And then the other thing is, like, if you're going to take video, take video. Nothing's worse than something's happening and all you see is the ground, and then it goes up to the thing, and then you hear a bunch of idiots go, "Oh my God, what the fuck, oh my God." Like, it's just a bunch of dopes. So I tell my kids, like, don't be an "oh my God" person. Like, step in and do something and try to help someone. "Oh my God, like, come on, you sound like a bunch of idiots.
So oddly enough, my wife asked me to do the same thing. So she was going to be late or whatever it was, or she was with another kid. I don't know. But basically, I was the one at the game, and this is I'm keeping score, right? And she's like, "Well, make sure you take pictures." I'm standing behind the backstop, so any picture I take is going to have the fence there.
Yeah.
And then never mind, like, I'm
hold the lens through the hole in the fence.
Yes, well, that too. But I was like, I'm keeping score. Like, I'm trying to pay attention to the game. Never mind the fact, when I'm at the game, I'm never on my phone. I'm not looking on my phone. I'm not scrolling through email. I'm watching the game.
Yeah. I'm on my phone only for Game Changer.
Well, so I have to be, I'm manual.
Yeah.
I'm manual. So I got the book.
See, the book's better.
And I agree. I like the book.
The book's better, but the book doesn't give you as much instantaneously. And then if you want to figure out all these, Game Changer figures out all the stats. Like, you can get contact percentage off Game Changer, which contact percentage is a great stat for building lineups because, like, his on base percentage is crazy because he has walked he hasn't had he's had a bunch of plate appearances. He's only had one at bat. He freaking struck out looking.
Right.
So, because the umpire strike zone was a rhombus. So, like, what do contact percentage is better. It shows what they're swinging and hitting, what they're making contact with.
We had technical difficulties with the Game Changer. Like, I literally, that was the game, like, the first game I was going to do it, I literally called you.
Yeah.
And you're like, "Oh, it's a glitch, you can't do it."
Yeah.
I was like, crap.
Yeah, it happened to me. And the guy that set it up on an Android device, and I had Apple, and it wouldn't let anyone in. And I think it depends on who sets it up. Because I've set it up, and other people with Android phones can it could be an error in whoever set it up, or how they put you, whether you're staff or you have to be staff to score it.
So I'm staff, but I'm on an Android, and he did it on an iPhone. So I thought, I'm just going to buy like a cheapy iPad, and I can use my phone as a hotspot.
Yeah.
And I'll just do it that way.
Yeah.
Because I know the parents like it, especially when they're like down the right field line. They can't hear the balls and strikes. Yeah. So they like to be able to keep up with it.
It's also fun when they argue with you. I think she had a triple and you only have a single.
No, I tell everyone fuck off.
The single was a gift.
Well, the funny part is, so like me, I give out doubles like they're candy. Mm-hmm. So like with the younger girls at 10U, the first baseman usually can't catch the ball very well.
Yeah.
And so if they can't catch it and the ball goes a little too far, the ump automatically calls it out of play and the girls go to second.
Yeah.
Well, I give them a double. I'm not doing it's a single with an overthrow and therefore she's on second. I don't do that. It's a double.
Yeah.
All right.
Sometimes Game Changer can be clunky too.
Well, yeah. And so that's part of the reasons why I was going to score it that way. But this was like, I ain't dealing with this. Like, it's a double.
Yeah.
That she's 10. This isn't going in her college stat book. Mm-hmm. It'd be okay.
Oh, no kid was ever drafted based on Game Changer stats.
No, none.
No, it's like, hey, we're really looking at your daughter to play for a full ride at Oklahoma. Mm-hmm. Great program down here. We just need to see your Game Changer stats from 10U.
Ooh, she got a 379 on base percentage in Game Changer? No. Scholarship revoked. Sorry. Yeah. Even though I just saw her play last week in a tournament and she went 8 for 10.
Right.
No. So, yeah, I'm probably going to stay with the manual, or maybe I'll give the Game Changer a try with like an iPad mini or something like that.
Yeah.
But that is not the purpose of this episode.
No, it is not.
The purpose of this episode, why everyone is here. The assignment was we had to find cars that we wanted to buy that were in good condition, like not brand new, but they couldn't be like no dents, no dings, like it couldn't need work, like it can't need a timing belt.
You had to be able to drive it from the place of purchased home. Would be
well, I mean then you could have dings and dents in it.
Yeah,
I went no dings and dents, like I went perfect
depending on the car,
and I also went like the interior had to be clean.
Yeah,
like no rip seats.
Yeah, now some cars that are known, so like Acuras are known for having torn up seats. Mm-hmm. So if it had some typical Acura hanger rash, I let it slide. If it had some typical wear from just being driven, I let it slide. But if the seat was like completely torn up with like metal showing through, like no.
I think I was a little more strict.
Yeah.
So under $5,000,
mm-hmm.
good condition. I also try to stay away from 200,000 miles and above. So I try to stay under 200,000 miles. In fact, I gave bonus points for things that were like under 150. Mm-hmm. Now, how do we want to do this? Do we want to do categories of cars? We both probably have about 500 cars saved.
Yeah.
So we could either do categories or we can go top 5. The original plan was to do a top, like 5 cars that we would buy. Mm-hmm. What do you want to do?
Let's do some categories, because I have some different things that would fit different ways that don't necessarily fit into a top 5.
Okay.
And some stuff I just think is cool.
Okay.
So, the categories I thought of was like daily driver, right?
Oh, but that's a lot.
Well, right. So you'd have to pick one.
Whoa, I don't know.
Or a couple. It's our show. We can do whatever we want.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a referee here, from the Chiefs.
Look, only one of us is right, damn it.
Yeah. And then there's also, a Cars and Coffee car. Mm. So that'll be neat for Cars and Coffee. Something that has a bed. So if you picked a pickup truck, but not necessarily.
Oh, you mean that kind of? I thought you meant like a bed
no,
to sleep in.
No. I mean, you could sleep in you got an 8-foot bed that never has to be made.
Okay.
So what else did I think of? And then something that holds 7 people.
Okay, that was easy enough.
Yeah.
I've also got like luxury car that ages well.
Oh, I have some. I have some nice ones.
I've got a lot of like cars that are identical to something else, but is in a brand you wouldn't think it is.
Okay.
I only have one in that category, but it's a really good one. Mm-hmm. I got a shit ton of these, man. Like I literally like there were. I think I texted you one time. I was like, I'm about to go buy one of these cars. Like
I was a couple weeks ago with that Mark 8, which I couldn't find, by the way.
I found a couple Mark 8s. I have 2 of them. Okay. I have a 94 and a 96. And a 97. I honest to God, dude, I have a lot of the same car over and over again because I literally was saving these like I was going to go buy them. Like, well, if this one doesn't work out, I can go get this one. There were some though, so some I was looking for and I didn't find, but I was looking for with certain details and specs I was looking for. So I'm gonna go with one.
Okay.
A 1998 Lincoln Town Car Executive Sedan
It's
in Pasadena, Maryland. It is down the road.
so I have a 2003 Lincoln Town Car Executive Sedan that is in Baltimore.
Okay, so you want to know why I didn't go to that model year?
Okay.
So in the 1998, I'm going to give this to you. The wheels on the older ones,
Okay.
I loved. So it kind of had those concave wheels.
Yes. Okay. They put those same things on the civilian Crown Vics and something similar to that on the Crown Vics and the Grand Marquis.
Yeah. But in the later years, they kind of put those bland.
Those ones.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, but those are the better versions. They kind of put like a worse version wheel.
That had fewer spokes, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And it looked like junk. I wonder if I got one. But that, like, for me, those Lincoln Town Cars, they're going to run forever. If you find one with an interior that's in great shape.
Yep. So it has a 4.6 liter V8. That engine is pretty much bulletproof. They put them in everything. So there's parts all over the place for it. The I think it's a 4-speed transmission. They use them for limousines, livery services, all kinds of stuff those cars have been used for. So I'm not scared about mileage on one of them. Because if it needs an engine or transmission, you're not really going to have to do a whole lot to it. This car has 132,000 miles on it, which for a 03 town car is a baby. So
I found an 02 that was much further away. So we ended up putting a cap on our mileage.
yeah,
I found an 02 that I believe has aftermarket wheels, but they're more similar to the 98, 99 than the wheels that probably came on this thing. But it's in Connecticut, so I couldn't go with that car.
I mean, if you said straight line distance, you're within 250. So
Yeah, I was trying to stick within
yeah,
just our driving distance. But that 1998 one, it only has 112,000 miles on it. I get it. It's a 1998. I mean, we're talking old as shit. But I mean,
I guarantee you, there's some police department somewhere around here rocking a 98 Crown Vic, and it's still going strong. Same engine, same transmission. So
I mean, even the steering wheel still in decent shape. I mean, it didn't have the wood steering wheel, which if it had that, I probably would have bolted over there, because this thing is listed for $4,500. I think if you went over there and offered $3,500, I think they take it.
Oh yeah. So like I was between two different town cars. One was the executive, is an 03, and that's $4,500 with 132,000 miles on it. The other one was an 05 signature for $1,900, but it's got just under 200,000 miles on it. So the reason I went for the other one was because I liked the color better. That was it. So
and the funny part about this is, so like here's another 2002 with 108,000 miles. I mean, you can find these things all day long.
Yeah, and they're going to run. They're going to run for a long time. They're comfortable. You can kill miles in them. If you have a long commute or you do a lot of long distance driving, like, you will be comfortable in it. It's not a sports sedan. And what's nice about those is they weren't built when they were trying to make everything a sports sedan. Like, it's a grandma car. It's a grandpa car.
Yeah,
so,
and the horsepower was suppressed. I mean, it's a V8, but the horsepower was suppressed in all of them.
I think it made 225.
Yeah, it wasn't very good.
Yeah.
But when you get in the car and you drive them, they don't feel like particularly sluggish. It's just very smooth, linear power.
Yeah.
You're not going to get that 4-cylinder turbo like boosted feel where it kind of takes off a little bit. It's going to gradually get up to speed, and the next thing you know, you're going to be 70 miles an hour, and you don't even feel it.
Yep, and they're quiet.
Super quiet, yeah.
Now, I did find one in the same vein, which is a 96 Continental.
Okay.
And
But
so
that's front-wheel drive, though.
I don't think it is.
The Continental?
It's built on the same platform as the Thunderbird and the Mark 8.
I'm pretty sure the Continental was a front-wheel drive car.
The newer ones were all-wheel drive, which I couldn't find any of those that were.
You mean like the new ones?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah. But I'm talking like the old Continentals.
yeah.
They were the four-door front-wheel drive. I'm pretty sure. Because the town car was the rear-wheel drive. Like, it had a different platform, I think.
Let's see. Let's see what old.
Wikipedia?
Yeah, Wikipedia is good for cars.
It is.
Of course, it's just people that want to sell me one. So I just have to change it to Wiki. And we'll see what this says.
By the way, a majority of the cars that I ended up finding were American.
Yeah.
Which is odd because, a lot of the talk is about how well made and how long some of the Toyotas and the Hondas last. Mm-hmm. Back in the day, even though they were unexcited cars, a lot of those SUVs and large V8s and the inline sixes from the American car companies, they lasted forever.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking like some of the cars with like the 3800 engine from GM, the inline six from GM,
Yeah.
any of the V8s from GM before they put in the active fuel management shit. A lot of those cars, I mean, yeah, the interiors might have been busted up, but if you find one that has a nice interior, those cars will run and run and run, and a lot of them are very utilitarian.
And they are front-wheel drive.
It was the same size. Those Continentals were the same size as the town car.
Yeah.
It was just a different platform.
Yeah.
I think they even had the same engine though. I think they both had the 4.6s.
I know they did. Let's see. What did it have? Yeah, the 4.6.
It was the weirdest thing. They literally made the same car.
Talk about torque steer.
But it was weird. They made the same car almost internally, like rear seat space, the front space. It was almost an identical car. It was just front wheel drive versus rear wheel drive. I never understood why they made the Continental, unless the front wheel drive just got better gas mileage or better handling. I don't know.
Better the snow.
Maybe. Yeah.
I don't know.
But what's the next category?
So the next one, I'm just gonna go down the list.
Okay.
So this is an interesting one. So it's an 03 Mercedes-Benz CLK convertible, and I just picked it because I thought it was cool and it was cheap. So it's $2,900.
What year was that?
2003.
Okay. So I also have a Mercedes-Benz on this list. A 2008 E350.
Okay. E-Class will run forever.
That model of it will.
Yeah.
I was looking for a 2006 S-Class. Either an S430 or an S500. S500 preferably.
Yeah.
I know you can get them in this range. I just couldn't find any. Now, they all might just be fucking beat to shit. I don't know. But
I found a couple that were 8 up.
yeah.
So, no, I have an E-Class in here as well.
Was it did you do the diesel one?
No.
I thought you would have gone diesel. Okay.
No, it's a 2000. It just says E-Class. It doesn't say the engine or anything. 142,000 miles. They want $3,500 for it. So, interior's in good shape. It's got an aftermarket head unit, which I'm not a fan of, but whatever.
See, I am. In those older cars, I am.
Yeah.
I should be. I mean, I put one in.
Yeah.
Another surprise, and this is another foreign car, and this is going to go into the big SUV range.
Okay.
I found a 2004 Lexus GX 470.
Oh.
$4,800 with 174,000 miles.
Oh, cool.
So it's got miles on it,
Yeah.
but it's that Lexus V8 that'll run for days. And the best part about it is the interior on this thing looks amazing. All the wood grain, The driver's seat doesn't look like it's shit on. The only thing I don't like about those GXs was how the rear was done. Mm-hmm. Where they had like those wing seats, and I'll just show it to you.
Oh, the one off. Yeah,
they go up on the sides, and so I have with the Yukon that I've got. You pull out the third row.
Yeah,
I'm not a big fan of that either. But when you go back that long, you're talking about 2004 for both of them. They didn't have the full flat seats in the ground.
Maybe so I think it has a solid rear axle going across the back. There's probably no room to put it down.
But it made those rears. It just took room away from the rear.
And didn't that share a lot with the Land Cruiser?
It did.
Yeah.
Well, actually, no. Land Cruiser was the LX, I believe.
Okay.
This was more Sequoia based, I think.
Okay.
But for reliability wise, comfort, luxury, I mean, for $4,800, if this thing doesn't have any problems, and it doesn't say that it does, and the fact that the interior is not torn to shit, I mean, that's a tough one to beat, in my opinion. That was when I was thinking about, well, maybe I should just go and pick that up.
Right. Well, I'm going to give you this one. It's a Lexus. It is a 2007 LS460.
That's the first year of that new body style in it.
Yeah. It's got a bunch of miles, 219,000 miles on it, but they only want $1,900.
So I think if you got up to like that 4,500, 5,000 range, I think you can find one for 100 with like 150, 160,000 miles. And man, that's one of the cars that I really want.
Yeah, and if you can find the LS, actually, this is one. This is an LS 400L, so it's the longer wheelbase.
Wait, is it the 400? The 400 was the old one. It's the 460.
It's 460. Okay. I'm sorry, I was reading off the back.
If you have the long wheelbase,
yeah,
man, not that I give a shit about me. Look, my kids aren't tall enough to take advantage of the L portion of that car,
right.
But it's still pretty damn cool.
It just looks cool, and
that body style, dude, was so good looking.
Oh yeah,
it was so good looking.
And surprisingly, there are a lot of Lexus LS out there in the price range that were, and I picked this one because I just thought it was cool because it was the L, and there's 1,000 of them to look at, so I just kind of picked one that was kind of in the same genre, that you get. They're older body styles if you like the original body style.
For me, that 460 is the body style.
Yeah,
like it still looks modern today.
Yep.
Like if you drive that car out on the road today, it looks modern. Mm-hmm. It looks like it could have been made last year.
Yeah.
And I love the waterfall dash. Mm-hmm. I'm not a big fan of the horizontal dashes that they do now. So for me, the only problem for me with those older cars is that it doesn't have a replaceable in-dash nav radio screen. Now, I do think there's a way to do it. Mm-hmm. And we talked about the 4x4 Canada thing.
Yeah.
I think they have something that can replace it. Mm-hmm. So if that can be done, it's that and the Lexus GX, both of them, man.
Go buy both of them.
Probably. One of they'll take my Yukon for both. I can get a 2-for-1. Start my own Hoovy's garage in my where I don't have any place to put them.
Of old cars.
Yes.
Yeah, that one, I wasn't surprised to see a bunch of this. If you wanted to go with an ES or a GS, they're all over the place.
Yeah. And for GS, I would make sure to get the GS 350, not the GS 300. Mm-hmm. So in 2006, it was the GS 300. In 2007, they realized it was kind of sluggish, and they upped it to the 3.5 liter.
And the GS was also the car that was kind of their sports sedan, their 3 Series competition before they brought over the IS. Because remember that Lexus, it was sold in Japan as a Toyota Altezza, but then they sold it here as a Lexus IS. Those first gen IS, those were cool cars.
So those are the cars the mechanics always snatched up.
Yeah,
because they could tune the shit out of them. Mm-hmm. The problem, so I would never recommend anyone buy one used just for that reason, because you don't know what mechanic busted the shit out of that car.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And those cars, if you weren't on point with your oil changes, they'd sludge up quick.
Oh, yeah. I have a car that I would never recommend anyone buy, but I love them.
Okay.
And the reason why is because of the engine inside. It's a 2003 Cadillac SLS, the Seville. It's in Edgewater. It's down the road from us. They want $3,000 for it. It only has 67,000 miles on it.
I have the exact same car saved. So
Now, it does say it has a check engine light on, and it's a torque converter solenoid code. New tires, front struts, rear air shocks at 2023 at 59,000 miles. I mean, the North Star engine there scares the shit out of me.
oh yeah,
But I looked at the one interior pic. It looks brand new. It's white. It's got that little rear spoiler tip off the back trunk.
it's a nice that
The back of that car is amazing.
those cars had a look to them, and whoever was in charge of Cadillac's, whoever their design chief was, they did a really good job, and they still had names. There was still a Seville, there was still an Eldorado, there were still names rather than CTS, DTS, all this dumb shit to sound European that they do. Infiniti with their dumb Q nonsense. I do not have a single Infiniti on my list, by the way.
I have one.
And there are Infinitis I like. Back when they were called like G37, G35.
I put an M on my list.
Ooh. The M45?
It's not the 45.
Okay.
But so this is the one, when I texted you I might go buy it. This was the one. It was this SLS. I am almost willing to risk the North Star. So my dad had one of these. He had the STS, but he had a red one. I love the white color on this. I'm not usually a white color fan.
It's that pearl color.
Oh,
it's a great color.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Look, if this thing's still available in like a week or two, it might end up in my front of my house. I just can't. I might not be able to help myself. It's $3,000. Even if it blows up tomorrow,
Yeah.
it might be worth just the nostalgia.
Just, yeah, why not? So I have a car that I would never recommend anyone buying, but I love it, and I might buy it. It's a 2002 BMW 7 Series.
Is that before they went to shit?
Yes.
Oh,
So
why wouldn't you recommend buying it then?
it's always an out of warranty BMW.
Yeah.
It's got 150,000 miles on it. It's black. They want $4,500 for it. And this year, 02, is the last year before Chris Bangle came in and just completely made BMWs look like shit.
So it's the last year of the model. It's the last of that model year.
Yeah.
Or the model cycle. Is it the 740IL
Let's see
or
what it
740L
I'm trying to see what it
or
says.
740i?
It just says 7 Series, so I'm going to have to...
Does it have a picture of the back?
No, and it's a terrible picture, which I just figure out how to do Spanish. So I had to translate it. Let's see. There's got to be a picture of the back in here. No, the back doesn't have the badges.
Oh,
But the thing is, like,
I don't think it matters.
no, it's a beautiful car.
Those were very nice back then.
Yeah, there's the front end of it, pre-Bangle.
Yeah.
You know.
The side and back view of that car were amazing.
Oh yeah.
They just look so sleek.
And I just didn't look for them, but I'm sure I could have found a 5 Series. Those 5 Series were beautiful. All the BMWs of that vintage were good-looking cars and now they're so hideously ugly.
If you ever go looking for the 5 Series, I highly recommend a 2008. It's either 2007 or 2008. 535 Xi.
Okay.
With a 6-speed manual transmission. That thing, it wasn't the M, but it could go.
Yeah. Oh, this one is a manual too.
A 7 Series?
Yeah.
Ooh. That's a unicorn.
Yeah. It's probably a scam.
Probably.
No, I did not vet any of these for scams.
Either did I.
So like when I see the car for sale in Edgewater and has Florida plates,
Yeah, I did notice that. I did notice that, and I think my desire for the car turned off my scam detector.
Yeah, and I'm not actually looking to buy any of these. So
See, I could get sucked in. I might. No, let's not discount my stupidity.
So I have another one. I actually have two of them, but it's the same car. So back in the early 2000s, Ford came out with the Lincoln LS. And the reason I mentioned that right after the BMW is because it looked a lot like a 7 Series. So it's a '06 Lincoln LS. It's only a V6. The LS8 was a better car, I think, because there's LS6 to LS8. But it's $2,600. It's got 97,000 miles on it, and it's in Middletown, Delaware, so it's not that far away. So there's that one. Then I have another one that is a '03 LS. I actually like the color better. It's that white color, which I'm not. Again, I'm not a big white car fan either. This is $2,700, and this is dealer owned, so it must be one of those buy here, pay here places. But you can just pay cash for it, which means I could probably get it for, $1,000 less private party. But I just mentioned them right after the BMW because they look so much alike.
They did.
So, and I have one more, and then I'll shut up. Which I thought these cars were cool when they were around, and back when this manufacturer was actually worth something. It's a '92 Mitsubishi Diamante. Again, it looks a lot like a BMW.
Sneaky good car.
Yeah.
They were really reliable.
Yeah.
Back when Mitsubishi made good cars.
Yeah, before who is it? Doug DeMuro says they switched to making cheap SUVs for people with bad credit.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, back then it was the Diamante was the flagship. You had the Galant, which was actually a respectable car back then, and the Eclipse. I think those were the only. But then they had the Mitsubishi Montero and the Mitsubishi Montero Sport.
And the Montero was a goofy looking car, goofy looking SUV. And I found one. I didn't put it on here, but they were really reliable too.
They were.
That's when they were doing all this stuff with DSM, Diamond Star Motors, and they were making all the different 3000 GT. I have one of those on here. And it's not a crazy one. It's just of course, if it would be a 3000 GT VR4, which were heavy as hell, but they handled really well. But yeah, this Diamante is a nice ride.
I feel like Mitsubishi just gave up. After the Eclipse, they could never come up with something that people wanted, and they just kind of said, forget it, we're out.
I think they stayed married to Chrysler for too long.
Maybe.
So, the first two generations of the Eclipse, Talon, Plymouth Laser, I think Eagle made one too.
It was the Eagle Talon, the Plymouth Laser,
and the Mitsubishi Eclipse. And then for the 3000 GT, it was the 3000 GT, the Dodge Stealth, and I think there was a Plymouth version of it. Or was it an Eagle version? I forget.
I don't remember.
But in any case, when I'll call it the Fast and Furious Eclipse, that generation, after that, they came out with this ridiculous one that shared the same platform and underpinnings and everything as the Breeze, Cirrus, Stratus. It was just a pile of junk. It got bloated. Awful. It got fat. It was just They called it a secretary sports car. It wasn't a sports car. It was a front wheel drive turd.
Right.
And they got away from what made the Eclipse cool. It was small. It was light. It was powerful. Especially the turbocharged versions. If you get a Eclipse Spider turbo, they were cool cars. They looked good. Girls would drive them because they were cute-ish, but then dudes would drive them because they were legit sports cars.
You get them with a 5-speed manual.
Yeah,
I had one.
Yeah,
I had a. I want to say it was a 2004.
Yeah,
it was red. Had the hump in the. Had the hump in the hood.
Yeah,
the manual sucked. It was like you grind gear. If you took off in first and tried to go to second, you were grinding that second gear. You were not getting smooth into second.
Yeah.
You might. I should have just gone straight into third, but at the time when I was driving stick shift, I was like, oh, you have to go to every gear.
Yeah.
But
so yeah, that was that. Mitsubishi really did Now they still make great diesel engines and trucks. You know, I think they.
Are they even in? But they're not even in America anymore, are they?
Yeah, you can get the Mitsubishi. What is it?
Was it Eclipse Cross or Mirage?
The Mirage Eclipse Cross, which is stupid.
I don't even know if they make that. The Outlander, which actually isn't that bad.
And then they made an ugly version of the Dodge Dakota pickup truck. It was so ugly.
The Mitsubishi Raider.
Yeah.
They don't make that anymore.
No.
It's long gone.
No. So, yeah, but I just mentioned all those together because they all kind of looked the same. Mm-hmm.
So here's I'm gonna put out there an SUV that I love, and I know you hate SUVs, but this was one of my favorites. And it doesn't matter what year, you can find an 05 or an 06 all day long. Right around $5,000. But this one was $4,200. 98,000 miles. Mm-hmm. 2006 Acura MDX.
Oh, I have some on my list, actually.
I really, really like those, and they were very well built. I have two of them. The interiors held up well. I was never a fan when they put the third row in. Mm-hmm. It's not a third row built for an adult. You're lucky to fit a kid back there. I felt they always should have left it out.
Yeah.
But if you fold it down, I mean, the second row still has legroom. Mm-hmm. It's not like when they did the next gen MDX. They try to give more third row room, but they squeezed that second row.
Yeah.
And I hated that. Like, do not squeeze a second row to fit a third row in. Make the damn thing bigger.
Yeah.
Because the second row gets used way more than the third row.
Especially because you have the Pilot, which you could base it, like, you have the underpinnings of a Pilot already. Now, Acura did make a car that was based on remember the Accord Cross Tour?
Yes.
There's a very good looking car, and I can't remember what the Acura version was called.
The ZDX.
Yeah.
You thought that was a good looking car?
I liked them. I like station wagons. So
I do too, but that thing just looked fucked up. I'm sorry, the back end of that looked fucked up.
Yeah, there's an Infiniti SUV that I also liked that had that same, like, the hood was still long and the I don't remember what it was called. And they offered it in this, like, titanium color that actually looked like wet metal, like the Terminator, like the T2000, like the metal liquid guy. Now I've got some older stuff in here.
I was gonna stay on the wagons real quick.
All right, good. Yeah.
And I know most people consider this to be an SUV, but I consider it to be a wagon. Mm-hmm. A 2011 Lincoln MKT.
Okay.
It's the Lincoln version of the Ford Flex.
The Flex is I'm shocked. I'm ashamed of myself that I did not look at the Flex.
So I'm gonna send you. Like, I'm gonna show this to you because I want you. But let me see if I have a different one with the better pictures. Because when you see this thing, you're gonna be, oh shit, I forgot that even existed. It was odd looking. I don't know if I have another one. I'll just show you this one. The back end of this thing was so funky. It almost looked like it was trying to replace, like, the Lincoln Hearse. Mm-hmm. Here, scroll through that real quick. And I wish they gave you a better picture of the side view.
Yeah.
The back end looks so weird.
Yeah, like, the back end does look like an old hearse. Oh, there it is.
What they should have done with that was made it a barn door rather than a lift gate, and it would have just solidified the hearse.
Yeah.
But that's essentially Lincoln's version of the Ford Flex with a 3.5 liter V6, naturally aspirated, no turbos, no nothing. It was very nice on the inside. And I only remember this because I rented one back in the day when we were on vacation, and I loved it. Now, the visibility outside of it when you were inside sucked. Like, it was one of those, like, it was like one of those first high belt line cars where the windows got smaller.
Yeah. At least it doesn't have the stupid floating roof line that I hate.
It does not, no. But it was, the third row was usable, which is why I think the back end looks so fucked up. But you had headroom in the back. So, like, you could, like, I sat in the back row of it one time, and my headroom was, like, I wasn't, like, squeezed into it.
Yeah.
Neat looking cars. The that 3.5 liter engine and the transmission that comes in it is very reliable. So like I've got it in my Ford Edge.
Now, does that engine have the internal water pump?
Yes.
Okay.
That's the one big failure point of that car. But here's the thing.
Why would they do that?
Because they're
Engineers hate mechanics and hate us.
Here's the thing though. If you ever notice the car's overheating and the check engine light or something comes on, just pull over, get it towed somewhere. It's about a $1,500, $1,300 to $1,500 rebuild to redo the water pump. It is the one point of failure on that car. Nothing else goes on this thing.
Yeah.
So some people even do them preemptively at like we're right now at 105,000 miles. And I asked my mechanic, I was like, should we just do the water pump and get it done with? And he said, no.
Yeah.
He said, if you ever see it possibly overheating, just pull over, get it towed here. We'll do it then. He goes, don't waste your money on something that may never go. He goes, these things can go 250,000 miles with that water pump.
Yeah.
And it's not the pump itself, it's the seal that goes and then the coolant gets into the engine.
Yeah.
But he's like, just if it's going to start overheating, you can see the temperature gauge. Just pull it over, get it towed here. We'll get it right. So that's what we're going to do.
Yeah.
But that's got that same 3.5 and 3.5/3.7. They up the displacement later, but
now you know the 3.5 liter EcoBoost makes that they put in the Flex and the MKT. It's 355 horsepower, 350 pound-feet of torque. Like
But is this the EcoBoost? Like I don't know if this year got the EcoBoost or if this is just the naturally aspirated.
The EcoBoost was available for 2 years, 2010 and 2012. So it depends on what year that is.
So this is a 2011.
Yeah, so it might have it. I'm not sure it was an option or not.
I don't know if I'd buy it with the EcoBoost.
But that
With the turbo?
But it's not a turbo like you think turbo, like you find on an Eclipse. Like it's not one that has waste gates and makes all kinds of noise. Like my Fusion has one, and you barely know it's there. So, but Ford did some crazy thing. The one they put in the Taurus SHO and the Interceptor sedan, they had it tuned up to 365.
So in my 2013 Edge, it's not the EcoBoost. It's just the Duratec V6. So I don't have to worry about direct injection. I don't got to worry about turbos.
Yeah.
The only thing I got to worry about is that water pump.
Yeah.
But I put one on here just for you, but I also really like these. 2005 GMC Envoy XL.
Okay.
And the reason why, because you had one of these.
Yeah.
I don't know if you had the XL, but you had an Envoy or you had a Trailblazer, one of the two. I really, really like these. And I love the XL versions because they get the third row and it's an actual third row. You can find these. I don't know if they were called Denali's back then.
They did have the Denali trim package on this.
Okay. And it had like the wood grain steering wheel. Like, it looked really nice on the inside.
They rode nice too.
And you can easily turn that into a modern car by putting an aftermarket head unit in. And you'll have your Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and you'll have all the modern luxury amenities.
Yeah.
Because those cars had the heated seats. They had sunroofs, leather, comfortable, all that fun stuff. I mean, it's not going to have like the safety nannies, but
yeah,
I don't like those anyway.
Yeah. So I'm going to go a little older.
Okay.
And this is more of a cars and coffee car, just because you don't see them a lot anymore. But it's a 92 Saab 900S convertible.
Okay.
Now Jerry Seinfeld loves Saabs, so he always had them in. The interior looks pretty good for a 30-year-old car. You put historic tags on it. The convertible top looks nice. It's in Clinton, so 150,000 miles. I'm like, that'd be a fun little car to have.
Staying with Saabs. 97X.
It's the SUV thing.
It was
the
the
Envoy.
it's the clone.
Yeah.
Except they got the Saab interior treatment.
Yeah, and they put the ignition on the freaking center console like Saabs did.
But it looks beautiful.
Yeah,
Like I'm looking at the interior that they did. It looks so nice.
There's
And it's so clean.
There's also an Isuzu version of that.
It's not the Axiom, was it?
No, it was something else. But yeah, some of my other older stuff, I have an 86 Porsche 944, which would probably be an absolute nightmare to own. Just
right.
But the interior is cool as hell. The back seats are tiny and they're like these little buckets that like sink in that no adult human would ever sit in.
So I don't know if this is a scam or not, but this was my Cars and Coffee car.
Okay.
A 2007 Cadillac STS V.
Okay.
So it was the STS that had some oomph to it, but the 2007 I think was the first year of that new body, the more angled body style. But it still had some styling cues from the old STS with like the kind of lip on the trunk a little bit. It was still, this one's still in really nice shape. I have a feeling though that an STS V would probably be fucking turned out. Like people who buy the V don't buy it to drive like grandma.
No.
You know? But it's still, for me, when they came out with those V cars, the CTS V was still kind of small for me. But the STS V, I was so happy when they made a Seville V version.
Wasn't there one that looked like that was kind of like a loosely based on the Corvette? It was a two-door version.
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, I forget which one that was.
That might have been it might have been a two-door CTS though.
Yeah.
I don't know though. You could be right.
Yeah, I have some other older stuff. I have an 86 Corvette convertible. And the interior is so hideous. It's in good shape, but it's hideous. I don't know why they did this. So the car is silver. It's got a black top, and the interior is red leather. You know, Corvettes always had it's got like the every line in the interior is a straight line, 90-degree angles. So, this car is a manual. But the thing is, they put the same shitty GMC Delco stereo system in that they would put in a Silverado work truck.
Yeah. I have another interesting car. So one of the most appreciated cars in the Pontiac lineup was the Pontiac G8 GTP.
Okay.
That's the one that goes for like 30, 40 grand used. It's the same thing as the Chevy SS, like that. So both of them were based off the Holden Commodore.
Yeah.
Okay. When Pontiac went out of business, Chevy took the car and basically just rebadged it the Chevy SS. But the GA GTP was the one they originally brought over. They were bringing over Holdens and rebadging them as Pontiacs. So this is a 2008. It's a Pontiac G8. It's not a GT or GTP, but it's got the body cladding of one.
Oh, cool.
So it looks phenomenal.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can get so it's got like the hood scoops. It looks gorgeous.
A buddy of mine he builds race cars and things like that. He said, if you can find one of those, it's like the ultimate sleeper. No one thinks because they think people look at it and they think, oh, it's just a Grand Prix. And it's not at all.
The problem with this is got the V6. It doesn't have the V8.
Yeah.
So but the thing I like about it, I mean, the looks on this thing are amazing. Even if it's only got the V6, the interior is immaculate on this thing. It doesn't. I'll be honest with you. The dash, it does not look like a GM car. Which is probably. I mean, it's basically the Holden. They just rebadged the steering wheel in the front and the back, but just a beautiful car. And I wouldn't normally say it doesn't have the GM like plasticky bits on the inside. So I this is one. Yeah, it's not the G8 GTP, but I would definitely probably go for this. But it's also in Connecticut, so it's only got 145,000 miles, but it's listed for $5 grand.
So I have a Pontiac in here that's not anything remarkable. It graced the rental car fleets of all of them. But I just thought it was I just remember them being everywhere when I was a kid. Like, teenager into cars. People had them all over the place. It's a 97 Grand Am GT. Nothing remarkable.
They have like the waffle sides? Or
like the polyps and barnacles? Did this one have it? Or did they smooth it out by then?
The 2008 is when they smoothed it. I mean,
it's not as bad. They're still there, kind of. The rims are hideous. The color's awful.
So that's before they did it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but I just remember them being everywhere, and that 2.4 liter, that Iron Duke will run forever. Like they just, you see, a lot of mechanics drive them because they're easy to work on and they run forever. I'd buy this car for a kid. It's got 76,000 miles on it. They want $3,100. Easy to maintain. It's not particularly fun. You can't fit a whole bunch of idiots in there. 2 doors. It's not. I think it's cool because I remember them, but no one now would think it's cool. There's no tech in it.
Yeah.
I have another one that. This one's pretty far away. It's sold already, but it was so clean. It's an '89 Mazda MX-6 GT.
You're picking a lot of cars I can't fit into.
MX-6 was like a mid-sized coupe.
That was what the precursor to the Miata, wasn't it?
No. Oh no. This is the MX-6.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's like a 323 back in the day.
Yeah, and then if you look at the interior of this thing, now this car it's an '89, so it's pretty old. It's
old as shit.
Yeah, it's 35 years old. But look at how clean the back seat of that thing is.
Yeah,
like this car is super clean.
Someone took care of it.
Yeah, probably run forever. So, and I think you'd probably pull up at a Cars and Coffee and be like, "That's weird." Like, not weird, like, but it's been a minute since I've seen something like that.
Yeah. I'm gonna go through like some generic ones. Mm-hmm. So like, I think a couple were scams that I was like. So I was looking for trucks because I knew people would be interested in trucks, right? I found like a 2005 Toyota Tacoma SR5, a 2005 version in Laurel. It's listed for $1,200. Mm-hmm. I'm like, there's no fucking way.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, there's no way this thing is only $1,200. So I think that's a scam because it's way too clean. Mm-hmm. But I did find. I got to refine it. So a 2005 Chevy Silverado 1500 crew cab, Z71 with a 5 3/4 inch bed. Now, when it says crew cab, it doesn't mean quad. It's not. The doors don't open like normal car. It's like
suicide doors.
Yes, it's got those.
Like the rear doors are hinged to the rear.
Yep, but it's the back seat's not tiny though.
Yeah.
Like you can fit a human back there. They want $4,000. I'm trying to look at them up. Unfortunately, it's got $300,000. So it's not real. But I couldn't find too many trucks.
So I found one, and so I have an 07 Silverado, 2,500.
Oh, big boy.
Yeah, $4,200, 8-foot bed. It's big.
Jesus.
272,000 miles on it.
Yeah.
But the thing is, with a full size truck, that's what you're looking at mileage wise. I don't know whether it's a diesel or not. I don't think. Usually when it's a diesel, they say it's a diesel.
Right.
I did find one diesel, though. Hopefully I saved it. Maybe that was it. I had a Dodge Ram, but it was 8 up. One thing I did find that was pretty cool was a 2000 GMC Jimmy.
Huh, okay.
So they want $2,000 for it. 178,000 on the odometer. It's an interior and exterior in really good shape. Now it does have car covers or seat covers on the front seat, so you kind of wonder what's under there.
Yep.
But they were trucks. Like they rode like trucks. They acted like trucks. They were capable off road. You know, they weren't that big. They weren't massively huge. They didn't have third rows, but they kind of did what they needed to do. and they're not huge, so it's something that would be another kid car. Like,
Well, I mean, as far as kid car goes, there were two I put in that category. So like an '04 Honda CR-V. Mm-hmm. You can find the EX version, which is the not the top end, but it's like the middle version. Yeah. You can find those all day long for like $3,500, $4,000. And then an odd one that no one probably really thinks about, but these were super reliable. Like a 2010 Ford Escape. Mm-hmm. Like an XLT version.
Yeah.
$2,500. 168,000 miles, but these things ran and ran and ran. They also made a Mercury version. If we're looking at like larger cars for kids, 2007 Buick Lucerne, or the one I found that was really cool, and I'm trying to find it here in my list. It was another Buick. Not the Lucerne. Come on, where are you? I can't even find it. I can't even think of the name. But it had the 3800 engine in it.
Another indestructible engine.
Indestructible. You're not going to beat it with a stick. But I would also, I wouldn't be afraid to do, like we talked about the GMC Envoy. Chevy Trailblazer, same thing. That inline six will run forever.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, those are good engines.
Plenty of Honda Accords out there. Mm-hmm. Like even like later model, like 2015s. So you get plenty of those for under $5,000. Toyota Camrys. Another hidden gem though, like a 2012 Ford Fusion.
Okay.
So like the SEL version of the Ford Fusion. It was the body style before the one that you have. Mm-hmm. So before the Aston Martin body style. Those things were unbelievably reliable. If you can find the 3.0 liter V6 in those, they're gonna run forever. The interiors get beat the fuck though. Yeah. And that was one thing. It was so weird. Like the exterior, I thought was really nice on that thing. Very plain, but it was nice.
Yeah.
The dash was done well. It had some nice blue lights on the on the driver's screen there. But the rest of it looked like fucking shit.
Yeah.
I mean, it was the rental fleet.
Yeah.
That they were doing there.
There's also the Mercury. What was it? The Milan? Is that the
Mercury Milan and the Lincoln MKZ?
Yeah.
Yep. They were all the same car. The MKZ had that stupid. Like they put that nav screen in there, and it was like that monochrome black and white, or gray and white. I'm like, what the? It looked like a fucking MS DOS computer. Like,
you should have made it green and black. So, I have one that could be Cars and Coffee. It could be a kid car. Now it's not the preferred trim package, but it's a 2000 Honda Prelude. A buddy of mine had a Prelude in college. I always thought it was a cool car. In fact, this one is the same exact color. Interior of this one is clean.
I had an 85 Honda Prelude.
They had all-wheel steering.
Which one? The 85?
Yeah. So the Prelude, where they take things and experiment, I think the 85 had all-wheel steering.
If it did, I didn't.
So the 2000 Prelude, that one had like one of they put VVT or VTEC in it. Mm-hmm. And then they had the one I would get, if I were to get one, would be the Prelude SH, which had the different suspension setup.
Is that the precursor to the super handling all-wheel drive?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, always liked them. Another one that's kind of in that same, 2000s, 90s Rice is, it's a 92 Toyota MR2. Okay. Tiny.
Yeah.
But you take it to Cars and Coffee. It only seats 2 people. It has T-tops. I think it'd be a fun little car to have. This, unfortunately, is not a turbo. The MR2 turbo is awesome because it had that intake that kind of, because it's mid-engine, it had that intake that kind of came up above the on the B pillar,
right,
or the C pillar. So those were some fun ones that I would get them under the auspices of getting it for a kid, but really it's for me.
Right.
And they get to drive it. So
I have some other honorable mentions. Mm-hmm. So I found a 2011 Lincoln Navigator.
Okay.
Now, for me personally, I like the ones that were like 03 to 06 before the body change. And I found some of those too. A ton of Cadillac DTSs though. You can find those all day long, and those things. I would get the later models though, without after the North Star, or with, at least if you get it after 06, I think they fixed the North Star. They put the better head bolts in there.
Okay.
So you're not just blowing bolts out the top. Let's see what else I got in here. Minivan. I found a 2005 Honda Odyssey, EXL. It has, how many miles do you have on you? 170,000 miles though. I did not find too many minivans that were this inexpensive. Bunch of Honda Accords, bunch of Camrys that were out there. You might have to go a little bit older, but who cares with those things? If you need the 7-passenger SUV, big boy, 2005 Toyota Sequoia.
Okay.
Which also has that 4.7 liter V8. This thing, I mean, look, you're not going to find one in that price range with under 200,000 miles. But it should run plenty after that. So, and my one specialty one, a 2002 Volkswagen Passat GLS.
Okay.
So it's pretty much like the loaded up VW. They had really nice size in the back seats. Like, obviously, I didn't pick anything small, right?
Yeah.
I've never been a 2-door sports car kind of guy. I was always a boat kind of person. This was like the Germans' version of a boat back then, because they didn't really make huge. I mean, Mercedes made the S-Class, but no one else was really making big German boats.
BMW had the
7s
with L, but I guess Audi had the A8L.
But that even?
But they weren't boats. They were still meant for the Autobahn.
Yeah.
Now, I wonder if you could find, and it would be an absolute nightmare to own, a VW, what is it, the Phaeton or Phaeton?
The W12.
Could you imagine trying to, first find someone to work on it?
Right.
And then just the nightmare. I have a couple in here that, so I did find my truck. Of course, it got off my favorites. So it's a 05 Dodge Ram 2500 diesel. They want $5,000 for it. It's got the so it's got a Cummins engine. That's a solid engine. I mean, it's got some rust on it. It's kind of beat, but it's just a big truck.
The rust is what's going to kill it, though.
If you had to tow a boat, stuff like that, like that's something. F-150 Super Cab XLT. It's an 05, but I don't remember what engine that has in it.
I was surprised I didn't find more of those like 01 to 04 Ford F-150s out there.
And then if you get into the like early 90s, late 80s, they get expensive.
Yep.
The crust. Now, this was my favorite of all of them. And it might... So, I forgot my 97 Thunderbird. I love the Thunderbird.
That was back when it looked good.
Yeah. Before they made that stupid retro thing that was hideous.
Weird as shit. It had like a little bubble window.
Yes.
Hey, what are we doing?
There's one in the neighborhood that's around I guess it's visit somebody. So I love this thing. It was sold for $5,000. A 1995 Toyota Previa all-wheel drive.
Mid-engine.
The engine was directly under the driver's seat. It looked like an Easter egg. They were just cool cars. I thought they were, and I should have looked for a Lumina APV or a Pontiac Transport, the vacuum cleaner cars.
Well, then you're looking for. Now you're going unicorn style.
Yeah.
The one I was looking for that I really wanted to put on the list, and I couldn't find one cheap enough that was in. I mean, I could find one cheap enough if I was looking for this fucking destroyed one. Mm-hmm. The closest I got was, I believe, it was like the guy listed for $9,500. Mm-hmm. It's a 2003 GMC Savannah.
Okay.
Explorer van. Mm-hmm. So gorgeous on the inside. Like for 2003, this guy took care of his car.
Yeah.
I think it only has like 116,000 miles on it. Mm-hmm. Like that was another one that I was almost ready to go over. I think it's in Laurel. I was like, I think I might want this. Like I sent it to my wife. I was like, what do you think? Because we're talking about selling the SUV, the RV.
Yeah.
And if I don't have the RV and all the money that I need to put into that every month, and we still need a travel vehicle, I mean,
yeah,
what would be better than that?
That's it. You can kill some miles in them.
They're comfortable as hell.
Yeah.
And my favorite part is, so I'm not a big fan of those conversion vans that have the doors on both the driver and the passenger side. Mm-hmm. I like the ones where they only have the doors on the passenger side.
Yeah.
The double door thing that allows you in the back, right? I don't know. And the reason why is because when you have the doors on both sides, that one chair behind the driver's side doesn't get like all the cool shit that's built into the side if the doors aren't there.
Right.
I mean, it's almost like a Barca lounger with like a nice table. Like it's weird with like everything they put in there. Now the one on the door side though doesn't get all that cool stuff and like the storage and whatnot. Yeah. But like, so this one only had the one door, the doors on the side. It had the double door on the side, but you know what I mean. It was only on one side of it. And so I was like, if I'm gonna buy one, you know, do I make the jump now and just kind of eat it for a couple months until the RV sells, or because how often do you find them in that good of shape?
Yeah,
right. Most of them have been used to shit.
Yeah, or they cost twice as much.
Correct. Yeah, I mean, you could be looking at like if you go up a couple years to 2007 or 8, you're probably looking 14 to 18,000 for those things still. This one was a 2003, still had the 30-inch TV. It didn't have the little guy. Like it had the modern setup. Mm-hmm. It didn't have the old school setup with the wood on the around the TV and the compartments and
wooden center console.
Yeah, it didn't have all that.
No, oak.
It looked legit. Like, and the guy looked like he had taken care of this thing. It looked meticulous.
Yeah.
And for $9,500, like he's not like. It's worth every bit of that $9,500.
Yeah.
But yeah, I couldn't include it in this because it was out of the price range. But
yeah.
I was severely that and that SLS that Seville. If I almost want to call just to see if it's actually an Edgewater or if it's a scam.
Yeah.
Because if it's down in Edgewater for $3,500, dude, I mean, come on, $3,500.
Yeah.
What car are you gonna? I mean. For $3,500, that's less than a year of car payments.
Oh yeah, that's
even
6 months of car payments.
Even if that North Star popped on me in a year,
yeah.
For $3,500, I got my money's worth.
Yeah,
63,000. It's got to be a scam. It's got to be a scam.
Now there's another one I found too, but the color was gold. So
for what? What car was it?
The same car.
An SLS.
Yeah,
I'm not a fan of the gold.
No, why would you get that? That's such an awful color anyway. Then why would you put it on that color?
I feel like that car should have been white, black, red, or blue.
Yeah,
those are my 4 colors. That gold color just screamed old man to me.
Yeah, yeah. This is a '96.
I mean, just tell everyone you got dentures and you shat your pants.
It is.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
It's got 145,000 miles on it.
What year is it?
96.
That's that old North Star.
But it doesn't say where it is. Oh, Ellicott City. So
man, if that's the old original North Star, that shit's fucking probably ready to pop a head bolt tomorrow.
Yeah. Probably. So
they say the cost. I think the cost to bulletproof that engine, which basically they have to rebore the head and use new bolts. Basically, I think this is close to like $1,500 to do that.
Yeah,
but for $1,500, especially if you ended up with a car with 62,000 miles, it's still a scam, dude. It's got to be. There's no way that shit's fucking real.
Yeah,
I think I got to call.
Find out. Be a detective.
I think I need to. Like, okay, where are you located?
Or then you end up with a Cadillac in front of your house.
Right, because I feel like if I go through the effort,
it turns out to be legit.
Yeah, if it's legit, it's like, well, it's right down the road.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like 15 minutes away.
You should probably park that car in the garage.
Well, I'm not giving up my garage. I can't do that.
You move half the junk out of there, put it someplace else, get rid of it.
We already did that once.
Yeah, and more junk ended up in there.
It did. Well, oddly enough, it's still mostly the lawnmower.
Yeah.
Oddly enough, my lawnmower goes in the garage, not my car's.
Right.
That's the dumbest fucking thing. I don't have anywhere to put the thing.
You can fit it in there somehow.
But then I lose my seating for the TV.
Yeah, you put the car in the other half. You have seating, and then you have to watch TV with the car.
Treat it like my pet.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. Were there any cars that you were surprised you could not find for under $5,000?
Because the way I approached it, I kind of like said, what would I want for this? And I found it, and I'd look. Not too much, no. I didn't really look for minivans once I found the Previa. Mm-hmm. That thing's also supercharged, too.
Yeah.
So, still not fast by any means. I could not find any, like, Toyota. Remember those boxy Toyota vans? It looked like a cab over, like it was a cab over. It's kind of like the pre-Previa. They were
Gosh, no.
Toyota minivans.
You're going way back.
Like a Toyota Delica, like one of those.
Oh, Jesus.
I couldn't find any of those. Trucks were hard to come by with decent mileage. They're all 8 up or super high mileage, as you saw.
I feel like if we went further away, we probably could have found one.
Yeah. I did not look for, like, Camaros and Mustangs.
No. I did look for Mustangs. Like, I looked around.
Yeah.
And you can get Mustangs. Like, but again, though, for me, if I'm getting a Mustang, I want the V8, not the V6.
Yeah.
And I want it to be in decent shape. I don't want it to be just fucking destroyed.
Yes, all dogged out. It was hard to find some of the more specialty. Like, I couldn't find a 3000 GT VR4. Like, I could, but they were stupid expensive.
Yeah.
Porsches, I found some Boxsters and stuff like that. I did find that 944, which I thought was, a lot of them were like parts cars and shit like that. I was surprised at how many Lexus LSs I found.
Yeah. That's a hell of a car, too.
Yeah.
I'm surprised there weren't more Porsche Cayennes.
Oh, no.
Or Touaregs.
There were tons of Cayennes. Cayennes are a dime a dozen.
I didn't find any of them.
Really?
And I didn't find the Touareg either.
Yeah.
But I also don't know if they were... I mean, I've heard the Cayenne, the older ones, were particularly reliable. Mm-hmm. Which is basically just a Touareg and Porsche badging.
Yeah.
I mean, but the interiors were vastly different too, though.
Yeah.
Had that weird triangle steering wheel. Mm-hmm. I mean, the steering wheel was round, but the airbag portion was like triangled. That was weird.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think what else. I was surprised about the truck, especially the F-150s. No Ford Explorer Sport Tracks, which I would have replaced the truck with, you know. Mm-hmm. But they could only tow 5,000 pounds, so it wasn't like a real truck.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of like the older Navigators, Aviators, but those are becoming more and more hard to find. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if it's because the 4.6 is just blowing shit up.
Yeah.
Plenty of Camrys, plenty of Accords, which I was actually kind of surprised about. I figured they would hold their value better than like some other stuff, but I mean, I guess once a car gets to a certain age, everything just kind of is going to have to be under that $5,000 marker. No one's going to buy something that old. Mm-hmm. I was surprised I couldn't find any S500s from the 03 to 06 range for Mercedes. I think if you can find one of those, they were extremely reliable. The only major thing to go on them was the air suspension.
Yeah.
But you could change that to coilovers. Mm-hmm. They used to be around quite a bit, I'd say 4 years ago, because I was looking at them. And I'm going to look. I wonder if they've kind of gone a little bit more in the collector status. To me, that was a better body style than the 07 that replaced it. Because it had that weird front fender flare over the wheel. I always thought that was a weird design choice. To me, the 06 was a beautiful exterior and interior car. And I do wonder if it's kind of gone the way of like collector car now. And so the price went up instead of down. They had an S600 as well. which was the V12. Mm-hmm. But the S500 was a V8 and was a little bit more powerful than the 430. But I don't know. I was surprised I couldn't find those. I didn't find a lot of those E350s either. Mm-hmm. And I wonder if it's just too old now.
Yeah, I also
or if people just hold on to them.
I also couldn't find a lot of. I was looking for like Accord wagons, Camry wagons.
Those are 90s cars, though, man.
Yeah.
I'm sure Russ got to those.
Yeah.
And just ate them alive.
Yep.
Because you had the Camry wagon, you had the Accord wagon. The Accord wagon you could get with the V6 and a 5-speed manual. Mm-hmm. A buddy of mine had one of those. I drove one. That was when I figured out that Honda Accord 5-speed manuals were just smooth as shit.
Mm-hmm. And then there was, I didn't look for any Taurus wagons, so I probably should have, but I just...
Yeah, I was trying to look for like the 85 shows, mm-hmm. the Taurus shows.
Yeah.
But they're all done. I mean, you see some of them now. But they're either really beat to shit, or people know what they've got, and they're asking like $9-10 grand for them. Those are starting to become collectors now.
Yeah. And I prefer the original with the Yamaha engine, not the V8 SHO.
To me, the 0405 is the way to go. Don't go for like the 07, 08 mm-hmm. with the frog lights and shit and the V8. Don't do that. Go with the Yamaha 0405.
Yeah.
That's the one to go for.
And I was like
I had one of those.
I was like that forest green color.
That's what I had.
Oh, man.
I had the forest green with the gray interior, the JBL sound system.
Just think you had one. And
I had one.
What'd you trade it in on?
A 2001 Nissan Pathfinder with a 5-speed.
Good job.
I like that. I like that Pathfinder.
That's when the Pathfinder was an actual truck before it became this stupid nonsense that it is today.
And I mean, I had the SE version with a 5-speed manual, cloth interior, but I had the Bose system. Mm-hmm. That was my first car out of college.
Yeah,
that was I got a job and I was like, I want to go get a car.
What'd they give you for the SHO?
I don't even remember. To be honest with you. They probably didn't give me much.
Yeah. And some mechanic was like, yoink.
I know, right? The guy was like, I'm appraising this at like $2 grand.
Yeah.
Because I'm the mechanic who's going to buy it from the dealership for $3 grand. Oh, you dick. The funny part was, I think my dad was with me at the time, and I could tell he was like, "Are you sure you want to do this?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I am," because I was stupid.
Yeah.
And at the time, he probably just should have just said, "Keep this car and don't let it go." But if it was, I would feel even worse if it was the manual version. Mm-hmm. But mine was the automatic. But if it was the manual version, I let it go.
Yeah,
I'd still be crying over that car today. What cars would you have looked for if you were trying to find a car under $5,000 to buy in this market? Let us know in the comments. Let us know what's in your area for that kind of money, and if it's any good. I mean, don't get me wrong. We were not looking for ripped up interiors. We weren't looking for rust on the frame. We weren't looking for rust on anywhere in the car. It had to be in good condition. You could drive it tomorrow. Probably put no work into it. Didn't have to do any body work. Didn't have to do reupholstering. Basically, drive it home and you're driving it for fun. Make it your daily commuter. Let us know what you think. How old would you go? How many miles would you go on the car? Shoot us comments wherever you can, or you can just email us, contact@drivewaybeers.com, and we respond to everything we see. So, all 3 emails we get. No, let us know which cars you guys would buy if you had a $5,000 budget in this market, under 200,000 miles, preferably even lower than that, probably under 150,000. What's your favorite specialty car from back then, or what's something that you hold dear to your heart? Like, subscribe, comment, share. We will see you next week. Thank you, Adam Chubbuck, for sponsoring the show. TACMD.com.